certainly pleased with the result Saturday relative to going on the road and really competing hard in the game. I was very impressed with the energy, the effort. Thought we had, kind of created our own enthusiasm. Maybe not quite the level of execution at times that you want. Certainly can play with a little bit more detail, a little bit more precision and discipline. But you know what? We competed throughout the game. We played through adversity. That was a good team. Coach Solich, tremendous respect for their staff and their players, how hard they play, how sound they are fundamentally. And they've got a really good blueprint. They've had tremendous success. That's a tough place to play. They'd won 8 in a row there, and I can see why. So, we're excited about turning the page to conference play. And we've got our hands full with another really well-coached football team. A lot of respect for Chad and what he's done there. They work well together as a team in terms of how they play on offense, defense, and special teams together. A lot of team speed, a lot of athleticism, and some explosive players on offense that can make them very difficult to defend, and we certainly know that starts with their quarterback. They had Minnesota on the ropes, and hats off to them. Another Sun Belt Conference team going and competing well against a Power 5 and opponent, almost pulled that off. So we're excited about the opportunity, very familiar with Paulson Stadium, and opportunity to go play on the road in a tremendous venue, tremendous history, tradition, and a lot of respect for their program. So what do we got today here?
With the product you guys are producing, are you confident going into conference?
Well, I think I see. I'm looking through the glasses of, we've got areas on our team where we need to improve. We've got a lot of strengths, and certainly I think one of our biggest strengths is the emotion that we play with, the energy, the physicality, the toughness that we play with. I think we've got great trust, great relationships. We fight for each other. But we got to make sure we channel all those things the right way. Had probably a handful of penalties that we shouldn't have had in the game Saturday, and that's an area of our team where we need to improve. But I see all those areas of our team where we need to continue to grow. We've got young players that we need to continue to develop, and then little chinks in the armor throughout our team where we've got to come up with really good solutions for those and manage those better.
Coach, defensively, obviously you played very well, but is this a kind of a style of an offense where you almost have to throw everything defensively out because you're not going to – it sounds like a totally different kind of a challenge than you have.
Yeah, I think, the defense in particular I thought was very impressive the first 3 quarters of the game Saturday. Kind of kept us in the game. Along with the kicking game, I thought we had the game under control until we figured it out on offense. But I think you're spot on. I think this league presents a number of different offensive concepts to you. This week is certainly different than most. So new mission, new location, new personnel, new schematics. We got to kind of erase the board, start over, turned our attention to Georgia Southern yesterday. And we'll work hard on it and come up with the best plan we can.
Avoiding them this year, are they still doing their usual triple option straight stuff?
Right.
Or different wrinkles?
Yeah, it's the same template, same structure. And this coordinator has been around for a while. Certainly was there before with Coach Fritz. Had a stint at New Mexico. Now back. Obviously it goes all the way back to Sam Houston State. And they were on the cutting edge at that point and had tremendous success. So very extensive history as a play caller and a coordinator, and, very good at what they do.
Coach, just talk, obviously, Eli getting recognized by the Sun Belt. Just talk about his contribution over the weekend, obviously.
Yeah, Eli's had great off season. It's good to see him have the production that he had, first significant offseason that he's had. He's banged up a little bit throughout his career early. So you can see the finishing speed, the physicality, the strength. You know, we probably, all these guys, they get attention as a group. You know, it'd be interesting to see if we just had one of these guys, what they could do. But I think they all benefit, if that makes sense. They're fresher, they're healthier, they complement each other. We're able to roll those guys throughout, and I think that makes us tough to defend because we always got a fresh back that can go the distance in there. And, you know, what I respect about those guys as a group and a position group is the selflessness and the attitude that they bring to our team. You know, they're a great example to anyone on our team that would even consider being selfish. And I think that that's helped the culture of our team over the last, year and a half or so.
Were you preparing as if it could be either quarterback for them or Woods?
Yeah, I mean, I think we anticipate the starter playing, but I'm very impressed with the redshirt freshman. The rookies play well for him. He's a very explosive player and presents kind of the same problems. Both these guys are really good players. I mean, and I think that they create some of the same issues.
What are some of the things that you're still looking for Levi to produce in the game that he hasn't gotten it yet, but you're hoping it clicks?
I think, it's just shooting to play your best game every week, trying to leave the park every week and say, you know what, I made the right decision every time. The ball went where it was supposed to go, played with great accuracy, made great decisions, was a great competitor. I think as he refines how he prepares, how he practices, the more experience he gains, the more confidence that he's going to get. And he did that for the most part Saturday. There's a handful of plays that he'd probably like to have back. But I think most weeks are going to be that way. The most important thing that he did is he took care of the ball. He spreaded it around throughout. He took what the defense gave him and put our team in position to win.
Did Manak practice last night?
Manak, obviously, we all know that he came out of the game. His situation is still being evaluated, exactly where he's going to be. We're going to have more of an update Wednesday when we get off the field relative to our entire team and where we're at from an injury standpoint. But we've got a handful of players that will be kind of day-to-day that we'll evaluate throughout the week. We'll give you that exact information on Wednesday.
With that said, Andre Jones, can you just talk about his progress? Where has he improved from last year? And he's made some big plays this season.
Yeah, Andre's it's one of the reasons why we were able to sustain once Chauncey came out. We've had a number of these second-tier defensive linemen really start to emerge, and Andre is at the top of that list. Andre's a guy who we transitioned to that position there. He's done a really good job for us. He's improved in his technique. I'm impressed with the motor that he plays with. He's more dependable, more accountable, more consistent in his play. And he really was player of the game 2 weeks ago and certainly stepped up, made some big plays in the game Saturday. So he, to go along with Kendall Wilkerson, Dalvin Hutchison, Jaquan Nelson, some of these guys that we recruited last year, we're starting to see some of those guys emerge and become more dependable players.
Coach, you mentioned there was some things you wanted to clean up after Saturday's game. Some of the things, obviously, were the penalties. What are some other things specifically that you're looking to clean up going into Georgia Southern?
Well, I think simple things like, we had some undisciplined penalties. We had 2 face mask penalties. We had a personal foul penalty. We had an illegal formation, illegal motion. All these penalties that have nothing to do with the opponent, and then there are some technical things, some fundamental things we need to improve upon. Finisher techniques in the return game, picking from the right tools at the right time, making better decisions. We only had 6 missed tackles in the game, and 3 of those were on one play. So we are addressing some of the issues that we have. We got to continue to eliminate those and try to play cleaner ball overall. We're always going to be a work in progress. Each and every week's a little bit different based off the matchup, based off the personnel that's available. So I think that we got an opportunity to use all those things that maybe didn't quite go right Saturday. We got to learn from those, not get too caught up with the outcome of the game, and realize that we could play much better.
They're coming off of a bye, and they've already got an offense you don't see every week. Does that put you a little bit more on guard for maybe wrinkles, or is there a way that do you put any extra thought into what they're going to do because they've had the extra week?
I think they're very systematic in what they do, in my opinion. I mean, I think they've got a great identity. They understand who they are and how they've had success in the past. And all we can do is prepare for what we see on the tape. We're not going to overthink that. We're going to prepare for what we know about their coordinators and their defensive and offensive personnel, and certainly their specialists and their special teams. So, I don't think we're going to overanalyze that. We'll just go with what we have and show up and compete and adjust once we get into those situations as the game unfolds.
What's the key against their defense? I mean, I'm sure you faced it, maybe not as a head coach here a lot, but in the past as a player.
Yeah.
Like, what's the key against the way they play offense?
Well, I mean, they challenge, your ability to communicate. They challenge you from a fundamental standpoint. It's very run oriented. You've got to be assignment sound. In a lot of ways, it's not different from most weeks. You got to communicate well. You got to play with great fundamentals. Certainly, you've got to try to create takeaways, attack the ball at every opportunity. I think the thing that's unique about them is the quarterback is the ball carrier. So there's an extra gap, and that's where they're a little bit unique. So, who's a dive player, who's a quarterback player, who's a pitch player, and although it is not the true old school double slot, wing T template, there's a number of concepts that are very similar in terms of how they go about it.
Was Saturday Gossett's first game back after he missed a couple?
Yes, he was. He was back.
I think both his catches came early. Was he able to go all the way? And if he's good to go again, what little extra element does he add for you? Because I know you got a lot of different options.
Sure.
Can he add more of a more vertical threat? Or what
Yeah, I mean, Khalif is certainly. It was good to have him available for the game, and certainly good to get him back in there. It gives us three players at his position. Jamal and Khalif obviously were out in front of that deal. Peter has emerged and become a consistent, dependable player. So, we'll evaluate those guys this week in terms of how they practice, how they perform each and every week, what type of mental intensity, urgency that they have in the meetings and the walkthroughs and in practice, and we'll see who deserves to play the most. Khalif certainly has a great skill set and is a guy that we need to continue to grow and develop throughout the year.
So with the start of Sunbelt play, you kind of let your guys know, look, here's where we start our journey to our Sunbelt title or whatever your goal is and however you explain it to them.
Well, I think we got to get consumed with the technical things and the preparation that's going to allow us to play well on Saturday. That's what's most important. What type of self-discipline do you have throughout the week? To watch all the cut-ups you're supposed to watch, to pad the plays you're supposed to pad, to, study the game plan, get into bed at night, eat and drink the right things. I mean, create a positive atmosphere within the building. It's truly one mission at a time approach. And this is a conference game, and I think our players are fully aware now that we have the divisional format, we have the championship game. They all matter. And this one's no different than the rest of them will be the rest of the way.
Coach, I know you always talk about controlling the tangibles, so when you guys are watching those undisciplined penalties, how do you as a coach get those guys to really understand that to clean the play?
Sure, yeah. No, I think it's a great question. The first way you win is you don't beat yourself. And certainly lots of games are lost more than they're won. And we have ability. We have great emotion, great energy, great togetherness and chemistry. I think we have size, length, speed. I think we're a physically tough team. We do a lot of things well. We got to make sure that those strengths don't become weaknesses. You got to channel those things the right way. The way I would put it is that it needs to be controlled chaos. and we got to play under control, but just barely. And I think our team gets that because we have experience in some of those things affecting whether we win or lose. And you always got to ask yourself, okay, hey, every decision that I make, is it in the best interest of the team? You know, when I lose my poise and pull a guy's helmet off, is that in the best interest of the team? So I think, Saturday presents a number of opportunities for us to live and learn, whether it's technique at corner, whether it's the basics of snapping the ball at center, whether that's, getting our hands inside on the perimeter, letting the guy get set before we send the guy in motion. All these things are small technical things that have nothing to do with the opponent. So controlling those things and doing those things the right way, I think, are very important for our team.
Coach, the passing game right now, is it about complementing a really good running game, and obviously you're still trying to strive to maybe one day you're going to need to lean on a passing game to win a game? I mean, where are you in that process?
Yeah, I think that we take what the defense gives us. I think we need to improve in the vertical passing game. And certainly there's some situations in the game where you're going to need to do that. 2 minutes, one of those, third down. And we've done it well at times. We need to do it more consistently. And I think that's where we're at. Like a lot of areas on our team, we've got to continue to refine those things and do them with more precision.
Do you prefer or like having all your non-conference out of the way, or is it 6-1 half dozen?
I don't necessarily know that it matters. It does break up the season to some degree. But in all reality, man, as a coach, you're just entrenched in this 1 week battle, 1 week matchup, 1 week scenario, and then you turn the page. You know exactly where you're at as a team and what you need to work on. And we'll turn all of our attention to Georgia Southern and, maximize every opportunity between now and kickoff to be as prepared as we can as a team.
There was a new name on the stat sheet that I don't know that we've ever mentioned in one of these press conferences, Jaron Wilson. How is he kind of fit himself into there?
Jaron Wilson is a local product from Acadiana High. He's a terrific talent. He's a walk-on our football team. Jaden was a guy who chose to go off to junior college, and a guy that recently graduated from junior college and was available. And as we recruited him a little bit when he was coming out, and no question the guy was a state champion, 100-meter, 200-meter, track athlete in high school and a terrific football player as a safety and a running back over there at Acadiana High. So he's earned the opportunities that he's getting, and he's getting reps at corner. He's affected the game on special teams, and certainly we're excited about his future here.